Morning, Dr. Cage. This is Steve Roberts. We're so glad to welcome you to this special session that we're having. We've all been looking forward to this opportunity to be with you. I'm sitting with Kaylin George and Kathy Thomas, also from the West Virginia Chamber of Commerce, and we are just so eager to get to hear from you in what will be the format of a fireside chat led by all of us in this room, but we're not going to be saying very much because we so much want to hear from you. For those who have tuned in, you probably know that Dr. Cage is the 13th president of West Virginia State University. He became the president of West Virginia State University on March 31st of 2022. And prior to that, he had served as the interim president since September of 2021. He is a native of Halifax County, Virginia, and previously worked at the Norfolk State University in Norfolk, Virginia. Dr. Cage is a graduate of Virginia Tech. He holds a degree in law from Rutgers University and a master's in law from the George Washington University Law School. I have gotten to know him on several occasions since his coming to West Virginia, and I find him to be a dynamic leader, a delightful person, an interesting gentleman to be with. And we here at the West Virginia Chamber are just so honored to get to spend some time with you today. So Dr. Cage, I gave a little bit of a biographical overview of you. I just wonder if you would care to add to that a little bit. People are interested in knowing you and knowing more about you. So we're going to begin the conversation just by asking you to give us a little further introduction of yourself and your background.
Well, thank you so much, Steve, for that very gracious introduction. And thank you for everything that the Chamber does each and every day to make sure that West Virginia is a place that is open and welcoming for business and frankly, for all of our citizens. So really, really appreciate your leadership. Certainly, I am really honored to serve as the 13th president of West Virginia State University, an institution that has been transforming lives here in the state for more than 131 years. As you mentioned from my bio, I did grow up in a small town in Southern Virginia called Halifax County. It's a place that reminds me a lot of the Kanawha Valley here in West Virginia. I grew up in a very, very close-knit family, and that is something that I really, really hold very, very dear to me because my small town roots run very deep and they help to center me in each and every day that I move forward in this life. Really, really value things such as hard work, determination, and most importantly, faith, family, and education. Education is something I have a deep passion for. The first job that I took after I graduated from law school that first job I had after I graduated from undergrad was as a high school government teacher back in Halifax County. And ever since I spent that time in the classroom in Halifax, I really have had a deep and abiding passion for education. And I've always tried to stay close to education throughout my career, whether that was the time that I spent in Capitol Hill working as a congressional staffer, or the time that I spent as an education lobbyist, or the time that I've spent in higher education. I believe deeply in education because, again, education transforms lives. It's one of the best things that any person can do to help to advance their personal goals and their personal status in this life. So again, a small town guy from Southern Virginia who's deeply passionate about education and deeply proud to be the president of West Virginia State University.
I was making some notes. I was moved by what you said, particularly that education changes lives. And I'm guessing that had I had the pleasure of having you as a high school teacher, I would have been a students who really, really enjoyed you as a teacher. I know from your background and your approach to things that you would be a teacher who would be a very inspiring person to students.
Yeah.
So,
but what I'll say, Steve, is this. I tell people all the time that if I had no desire to go to law school, I would actually still be in that classroom in Southern Virginia, because again, to teach is to change lives forever. I can't think of any other profession where you have such a profound impact on individuals' lives. So thank you for that. And I certainly definitely did value that experience, and I value the work that educators all across this country do each and every day.
I'll just add to that quickly by saying my mother was a teacher, and as children, we had kind of a reading list at home, and Jesse Stewart, who also had begun his career as a teacher, was one of the people that we read, and his To Teach to Love is a fantastic story. So it's always inspiring to be around those of you who have so much to offer to our younger people who probably in some respects need some inspiration. Well, tell us a little bit about West Virginia State University, its background and history. I know it's a rich history, one of only 2 land-grant universities in our state. So I'm going to ask you to just pick up there and talk a little about West Virginia State University. Absolutely.
Well, West Virginia State University was founded in 1891 under the provisions of the Second Morrill Act. Of course, as you mentioned, it is a land-grant institution. It is also a proud historically Black college and university, HBCU. The institution, of course, was founded under the auspices of providing a higher education to African-American students. And that is a mission that the institution embraced very, very strongly, and served as a platform for prosperity, economic growth, and social mobility for thousands of African Americans over the years. Of course, the institution has evolved over time and expanded its student population to include all students from all backgrounds, regardless of race. And that's a mission that we embrace very, very strongly. We consider ourselves to be a living laboratory of human relations, and that speaks again to our commitment to diversity, our commitment to access, our commitment to inclusion. Again, the institution has a very, very profound impact on the state. In the Kanawha Valley alone, there are more than 10,000 West Virginia State University alumni. So what I say very often is, if you're in the Kanawha Valley, it really doesn't matter where you go, what community you're in, what profession, what business, you're probably going to run into a graduate of West Virginia State University. And it's something that we're very, very proud of. We believe that we do make significant contributions to, again, not only the Kanawha Valley, but also to the Mountain State. We're an institution that is on the move. Since I've arrived here as president, we've been focused on bringing stability to the institution. We've been focusing on recentering on our core values and embracing a culture of care. We've also been focusing on ensuring that the university is on a trajectory for growth, so that we can reach that next level of excellence in higher education. We've added some exciting new academic programs. We've added some exciting new partnerships, and we continue to work to elevate our brand throughout, again, the Kanawha Valley and throughout the Mountain State. So West Virginia State University is an important part, again, of the state's future. We value each and every one of our students, again, our partners, and we look forward to supporting economic growth and prosperity throughout the region.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cage. Now, you have touched on this before, but if we could expand a little bit, February is Black History Month, and West Virginia State is a historically Black college and university, one of 2 in the state. Can you tell us about the roles that HBCUs have played and continue to play in the nation?
Absolutely. Well, when I'm talking about HBCUs, I refer to the institutions as enduring gateways for social and economic mobility for thousands of students, both of color and students of the majority population. Again, at their core, HBCUs serve as platforms for students to come with their ambition, with their determination, and with their dreams. And it's our job to provide them with the tools that they need to be successful, to accomplish their goals. You mentioned two HBCUs in West Virginia, of course, West Virginia State University being one, Bluefield State being the other, but there was also another HBCU here in the Mountain State, and that was Storer College. And Storer College was actually the first institution that provided higher education to students of color in the state. That institution closed in the early 1950s, but it is important to note that that is part of our history here in West Virginia when it comes to historical Black colleges and universities. But institutions, again, continue to have and continue to play a very, very vital role. Again, not just in serving students of color, but in serving all students, helping to move our economy forward. And again, helping to ensure that the eternal light of optimism and promise continues to burn very bright in our state and our nation.
Thank you. Another thing that you and Steve had touched on is that West Virginia State University also holds the distinction of being one of only 2 land grant institutions in the state. Could you tell us how has this land grant mission served the people of West Virginia?
Yes, you are absolutely right. West Virginia State is one of 2 land grant institutions. We are the 1890 land grant institution in the state. Of course, the 1860 land grant is the state's flagship institution, West Virginia University. As land grant institutions, we have a mission that extends beyond our campus borders. And that is a mission that is one that's focused on serving the citizens of the Mountain State. And we do a number of different things through our land grant mission. One, we support agricultural research throughout the state. We also work to advance economic development, healthcare. Many of you may know about the West Virginia State University's Healthy Grandfamilies Initiative. And through our Healthy Grandfamilies Initiative, we are literally helping grandparents raise their grandchildren in all 55 counties in this state. Very, very important program that we're very proud of, again, in the work that we're doing to help raise the next generation of West Virginians. We also work through our land grant program to advance our 4-H programs, which help introduce youth to a variety of different programming related to agriculture and forestry. We also work with our K-12 partners to help introduce young people to the STEM fields, because we know that the STEM field is a very, very growing part of our workforce. So we want to make sure that young people are introduced to that field very early so that they can start preparing themselves to go on and get the advanced education that they need to secure jobs in that area. But again, as a land grant institution, we take very seriously our mission to the entire state of West Virginia. And we partner with WVU in that work, again, to make sure that we are having the best and widest possible impact here in the state.
Now, what do you see for the future of West Virginia State University?
Well, I think the future is very, very bright for West Virginia State University. As I mentioned at the outset of our conversation, we've seen just some incredible growth at the university with respect to the addition of new programs. For example, our nursing program has seen some very, very strong expansion thanks to the support that we received from Governor Justice's nursing fund. We received over $1 million to help expand our facilities, to help add new faculty, and to help increase the number of seats in that program. One of the first things that I did when I came to the university was I said, West Virginia State University needs to have a cybersecurity program. And I was very, very tenacious about that fact because I know that cybersecurity is a growing field. And I felt very, very strongly about the fact that we needed to be in that space. So with the support, hard work of our faculty and staff, we put together a proposal which we submitted to the Kanawha County Commission, who ultimately funded a ARP grant for over $700,000, which has really served as seed money, which has allowed us to bring cybersecurity to West Virginia State University. We're also pushing the envelope with respect to trying to grow some of our existing programs, trying to take those programs to the next level. And one thing I'll point to is our education program. West Virginia State University has long had a very, very strong education program. In fact, many of the teachers in the Kanawha Valley came to our program. So given the strength of that body of work, we are now undergoing efforts to bring the university's first doctorate degree in the area of education. There'll be an EDD in educational leadership. Engineering, we continue to grow that program as well, because we know the STEM fields are incredibly strong growth areas. So what is the future of West Virginia State University? The future is one of a doctoral granting research institution that is laser focused on student success and the work of helping to grow West Virginia's economy. That's the vision that I have for West Virginia State University. It's a vision that I believe that we are well on the way toward achieving. We're in the process of launching the university's second capital campaign. That'll happen sometimes next year. So please keep your eyes open for that, because we're going to need all the help we can get from all of our partners across the Kanawha Valley and across the state, and frankly, across the nation, to make sure that that is successful. We're also well underway with the university strategic planning process. And I know we've had listening sessions across the Valley that have engaged a lot of different stakeholders, because we very much are in the process of writing the next chapter of the state story. So I'm very, very excited about where we're headed. And I really, really look forward to our future growth.
Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who is on this call. As we get into the next couple of questions, I just want to let you know that you can type a question for Dr. Cage in the chat box. It's under the Q&A. We will be checking that here in just a couple of minutes, so you have time to gather your thoughts. But for Dr. Cage, do you have any other additional thoughts or food for thought for us?
Well, I think I'll just say this again. Remember what I said about HBCUs being enduring gateways for social and economic mobility. I think it goes without saying that West Virginia State University holds a very special place when it comes to transforming student lives, when it comes to producing alumni who have gone on to really change our world. And of course, I could not have a conversation about Black History Month without mentioning some of those alumni who have graduated from our institution and made significant impacts. Of course, one that we all know about is Katherine Johnson. And of course, Katherine Johnson, born in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. She received her high school education and her college degree right here at West Virginia State. And through her hard work and tenacity, she was able to go on to NASA and really help to place a man on the moon. Think about people like Earl Lloyd, the NBA great, who was a student here at West Virginia State University. And in more recent times, you can think about folks like the former West Virginia Secretary of Commerce, Ed Gaunch, and current Commissioner of Insurance, Alan McVeigh, all graduates of this great institution. So I think those alumni really speak to the diversity of this institution, but more importantly, speak to the fact that, again, West Virginia State University is a place where you can come regardless of your background, and again, through your hard work and through the skills that we can provide, you can go on to accomplish extraordinary things.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Cage, this is Steve Roberts again. And one of the things that I'm always interested in and that we talk about here at the West Virginia Chamber of Commerce is, what do new eyes see that we may be overlooking? And that may be a question that you and I can talk about later on, or you may want to make some comments related to that now. But we're always interested from a Chamber of Commerce point of view in how we can make our state more open, more welcoming, friendlier. How can we improve our first appearances? And any observations you have in that regard could be very helpful to us.
Well, thank you for the question, Steve. I mean, I think certainly what I would encourage the Chamber to do, and all those folks who are committed to the work of the Chamber and committed to business in the state, is to continue to do what we're doing in terms of focusing on being open, being inclusive, because the fact of the matter is, a lot of the businesses, really all of the businesses, the major businesses that are looking to relocate to the state, whether they be the Nucors of the world, whether they be the Toyotas of the world, it doesn't matter. All those industries, those companies have a commitment to inclusiveness. And I think as long as we continue to focus on those things from the perspective of the Chamber, I think we're going to be in a stronger position to recruit and to attract new business interests to the state. I'll also say this, it's important to have the right folks at the table. I tell folks all the time, I know the motto of the Chamber is that the Chamber is open for business. West Virginia State University is also open for business. And we, as an institution, welcome the opportunity to have a seat at the table when economic development work is happening across the state and we are working to bring new business interest. I welcome the opportunity to have play a role in that conversation, to let folks know what we offer here at West Virginia State University, let folks know our history, to know the capabilities that our faculty, our staff, and our students bring to the table. So it's making sure that those conversations are inclusive and that they are representative of the rich diversity of the state.
We do have a question pertaining to the retainments of graduates in the state. What are some things that WVSU is doing to retain graduates and keep them in the state? And could you also just touch on the importance of that mission?
Yes, absolutely. Well, West Virginia State University has a strong track record of both recruiting and retaining students from right here in West Virginia. The fact of the matter is, the vast majority of all the students that we recruit into the institution come from right here in the Kanawha Valley and in some of the adjoining counties. So if you walk across our campus, you're going to see West Virginia on full display. And you think about our student demographics, a large majority of our students are commuter students, or they're non-traditional students, they're working adults. So they're already here in the Mountain State and they're committed. They're coming here to get a college degree, to get skilled up so they can continue to work in the Mountain State or to advance their career to the next level in this state. So we've got a rich history of supporting the students of West Virginia and to helping to enhance and to build that workforce. But it's very, very important that we do that because, certainly we want to retain as much of the talent. I mean, we have some great institutions of higher education here in the state, which are really producing some extraordinary graduates. The more we can do to keep that talent here, it's really going to help us again to grow from an economic perspective here in West Virginia.
We certainly like a discussion about talent retention in West Virginia, and it's one of the things that interests us the most. Dr. Cage, this has been a wonderful time spent with you. we know you rearranged your schedule to make time to do this morning, and thank you very sincerely for that. We will be posting this presentation to the Chamber's website, where many people can come back and look at it later on. So thank you so much for informing us about you, about West Virginia State University, your vision to be a doctoral granting university that participates in the community and assists with economic development. Thank you for leading us in the direction of training more teachers. The doctoral program in education sounds very interesting, and I know will be well received. And I'll quickly say that about a year ago, we were able to participate with you in bringing students from Southern West Virginia to your campus. And for them, it was, we think, a life-changing and transformative experience. Your team was fantastic.
Right.
We enjoyed being there. The kids are eager and enthusiastic and excited about their future. And it's because of what they saw and what they experienced while they were at West Virginia State University. So thank you for your good work. Thank you for making time for us this morning. And we look forward to more conversation with you.
Well, thank you so much, Steve, and to all the members of the administrative staff and leadership team of the Chamber for everything that you do. I'm proud to serve on the board of directors of the local chamber here in Charleston. And again, anything that we can do at West Virginia State University to support economic growth and prosperity here in the Mountain State, we are more than happy to do that, more than happy to be part of that conversation. And again, I appreciate your commitment to making space to honor and to recognize Black History Month.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.